Hi everybody, welcome to Proficiency 101. My name is Roberto and I'm an English teacher. In this video, I'm going to talk about the reading and use of English paper of the B2 First Cambridge exam. More specifically, I want to take a look at part 1 of this paper, which is a multiple choice close. Let's start with a sample of the task in part 1. As I mentioned before, part 1 is a multiple choice close. There is a text with some gaps and 4 possible answers for each gap, A, B, C, and D. The first question is question 0, and it is the example. That's why it's already done. There are 8 questions to be answered, and you get 1 mark for each correct answer. The focus of part 1 is vocabulary. More specifically, this task is designed to test your knowledge of idioms, collocations, shades of meaning, phrasal verbs, and other phrases and expressions. In this video, I'm going to focus on idioms. If you don't know what an idiom is, it is a phrase or expression that has a figurative meaning. That means that it typically cannot be understood through the literal meaning of its individual words. For example, the phrase kick the bucket has nothing to do with the action of kicking a bucket. In fact, it means to die. So if I say that someone kicked the bucket, what I mean to say is that they died. The same goes for the phrase hit the nail on the head, which means to be right, and cost an arm and a leg, which means that something is very expensive. If you're preparing for one of the Cambridge exams, it's important to learn idioms because on the one hand, it's not always easy to understand their meanings from context, since they are figurative. And on the other, if you're not familiar with the idiom being used, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to choose the correct answer. So, it's time to practice. I have prepared an activity that focuses on idioms. There are 5 sentences, and you must choose the correct answer to fill in the gaps. You might want to try and do the activity first, so I suggest you pause the video now and resume it when you're ready to check the answers. Let's take a look at the first sentence. The team members made an effort to clearly define their roles and responsibilities to avoid gap on each other's toes. The possible answers are A, touching, B, hurting, C, moving, and D, stepping. The correct answer is letter D, stepping. If you're not familiar with this idiom, to step on someone's toes means to upset someone, especially by getting involved in something that is that person's responsibility. Now, let's take a look at the second sentence. He thought he could handle the extra work, but he clearly bit off more than he could gap. The possible answers are A, eat, B, swallow, C, chew, and D, drink. The correct answer is letter C, chew, and the idiom is to bite off more than you can chew. If you're not familiar with it, it simply means to try to do something that is too difficult for you. The third sentence is, they burned the midnight gap, preparing for the presentation. The possible answers are A, candle, B, oil, C, fire, and D, match. And the correct answer is letter B, oil. The idiom is to burn the midnight oil. If you're not familiar with it, it simply means to work late into the night. The next sentence is, he didn't go to work because he was feeling gap the weather. The possible answers are A, over, B, beside, C, under, and D, opposite. The correct answer is letter C, under. And the idiom is to be or to feel under the weather. If you're feeling under the weather, the idea is that you're feeling ill and probably need to rest or maybe even see a doctor. The last sentence is, you should take his story with a pinch of gap because he often exaggerates. The possible answers are A, salt, B, sugar, C, spice, and D, patience. The correct answer is letter A, salt. The idiom is to take something with a pinch of salt. If you take something with a pinch of salt, it means you don't completely believe it, because you think it's unlikely to be true. Now let's review the 5 idioms we learned in this video. The first one is to step on someone's toes, and it means to upset someone. The second one is to bite off more than you can chew, and it means to try to do something that is too difficult for you. The third one is to burn the midnight oil, and it means to work late into the night. The fourth one is to be or to feel under the weather, and it means to feel ill. And the last one is to take something with a pinch of salt, and it means you don't completely believe something because you think it's unlikely to be true. And there you have it, 5 idioms to help you study and prepare for the B2 First Cambridge exam. I hope this video helps you in your studies, and if you feel like it, please consider subscribing to the channel. In the meantime, happy studying and keep learning!